Welcome to another episode of Mom Talk Live. It's Thursday, y'all, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you to everyone, especially my Mom Squad members who join us each and every week. So tonight is a topic that is a very, very dear to my heart because when I tell you that I am in the trenches right now as it pertains to preparing my senior year for college, that is where I am. And I'm going to tell you all about my experience. Not only am I going to tell you about my experience, I have two mama friends who's going to be on joining me tonight, who's going to share their experience. And then we're going to make sure you all walk away. If you have a kid that's in middle school, just getting into high school, maybe you have a sophomore or junior, I don't know, maybe you even have a senior. We're going to give you the nitty gritty, and then we're going to give you some information, some tips and strategies that you can walk away with tonight so that when it's time to prepare your senior for college, you'll be a little bit more prepared than maybe I was. We'll be back right after this. So, ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and sitting down with me for this topic. Like you heard when you were backstage, I feel like I'm in the trenches, y'all. Like, this is some different type of stuff. And as much as I tried to prepare when it came to getting my senior ready for college, like I started freshman year and it was just some surprises that came up that I wasn't even aware of. So, I want to jump right into this conversation tonight. If you are joining us live, whether you are on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and share or tag a mom who you know needs to hear this conversation tonight. And I will let my mamas go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'm Latifa. I have two children. My daughter is 5, going on 6. She'll be 6 next month. And my son just turned 18 in January.
Awesome,
Well,
awesome.
hello. Thank you for the invite. I'm excited for the conversation. I'm Cassandra Porter. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana with my husband and my two children as well. So my daughter is a senior and I have another daughter who is an 8th grader. So lots of finals, things that happen this year, at least in 8th grade here in our schools. It's like a graduation of sorts. And so we have all kinds of emotions happening with our two daughters.
Yeah, so Cassandra, you have two milestones going on. So 8th grade, graduating from middle school, and then graduating from high school all in a year. How is that?
You know, it is it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm trying to take it all in. I know it's going fast. I can't believe we're already in March, but I'm trying to take it all in and, going into prom and, these 8th grade, there's like an 8th grade trip and, all those things. I'm trying to appreciate it and not be overly stressed. So
Yeah, tell me about it. So is everybody ready for prom? Latifa, your son, he's ready or?
We're in the process. She found her dress. So I was like, oh, that's good. He's finding little things. But I guess better than nothing. But it seems like everything is just sneaking up on us. I'm like, oh my God, like next month is prom.
We are not.
Can you believe it?
We are not in our house. We're not ready.
Don't feel bad. We're not either. We don't even have a dress yet. So
okay. That feels
don't
better.
feel bad. When is your prom? Because we're both in Georgia. So when is your prom?
It's the 22nd. So April 22nd.
And we're the day after.
Oh, so Friday. We're on the 23rd. Yeah. And it's cool. They're having it at the aquarium. So that's super cool. Where's your prom, Cassandra?
It's at like a ballroom in the city. So this high school is in Carmel, Indiana. So it's in like one of those like event centers up there. So.
Nice. So, I'm excited, but for anybody, I think it's really bad. So I don't know how I feel about them driving to the city. Like how. No, so are y'all doing a limo or because we were trying to encourage them to do a limo, but they said it was too many people already in the one limo that was booked. So I'm not sure what that's all about.
We thought about a party bus, or not a party, but like a bus, for his friends. We were going to see if the parents could get together. He just told my husband the other day, I don't think it's enough of us. Well, how many people do you think you have to have? Like, we just don't want them driving. You know how it is. That's a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially on a Saturday night to the city. We're really concerned about that. So yeah. So look, they might have to be on y'all party bus.
Look, we can do it. We're trying to talk them into it. We didn't want to stress them out anymore. So we were like, okay, we'll take a break and then we'll revisit it,
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you brought up the word stress and talking about stressing our kids, right? And so one of the things that I keep saying, my husband's like, you always talk about what's fair in life and what's not. I always have this fair thing. So I absolutely don't think it's fair that our kids have to worry about graduating their senior year and preparing for college. Like, I'm stressed looking at her have anxiety about it, right? It's just a lot. Then she has this hard class that like worldwide everybody finds challenging, economics. I'm not sure if y'all kids are listening. And so I'm emailing the teacher today, like this is not looking good. Like, what are we gonna do to work together? Okay. So I'm confident that she'll graduate and everything, but it's a lot. So because I'm in a college group me, right, that I started. And it seems to be in this particular group that all the boys are kind of laid back, like nonchalant, like they're unbothered. And then all the girls are like stressing. So how are y'all kids doing with this year?
Well, at least right now, the challenge is, and I think this is a nationwide thing. So my daughter is also in a couple of AP classes. So headed towards the end of the year when they have to take their AP test. So they can't even have senioritis, right? Like they got like AP exams. And because we did the application process early, now she's in the scholarship process, like application process. And I am hounding her. I find something and I'm like, do this essay, and God bless them. All the essays are different. I don't know why they can't be just one. Tell me what your life goals are. Essay.
Right.
One essay is how are women represented in whatever, and one is how do you see yourself in 20 years, and one is how has the pandemic affected you? Like, and I get right. All these scholarships have different requirements, but then that's even more. And I feel badly that I keep nagging her, but I also know like we're trying to get all the scholarship dollars we can get. So I know she's stressed with not only school responsibilities, like she just finished a DECA. It's like a business organization competition. So she finished that, but then I'm nagging her because there's some scholarships due March 15th. And I know it's a lot, but it's also, I need you to get ready so that you can be able to manage this when I'm not nagging you in 6 months.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Latifah? How's your son been?
He is definitely the typical boy, the nonchalant, and sometimes he drives me crazy. But I will say his trouble class this year is pre-cal, and I guess is even more stressful because he really doesn't need that to graduate. Like he has his credits, but at the same time, he doesn't want his GPA to go down. And I think it's figuring out the class. But
not alone.
He's so nonchalant. So I find myself like, I'm the one having anxiety. And I'm like, nagging him like, well, what date is this application due? What date is, he's like, Mom, I got this. I'm like, okay. So I had to learn, to calm down and trust him and everything. But we actually had a talk because we tried to have a relationship with him where he's like really open. And he is stressed out a little. Like they do get stressed out. Like school, then he has track, he works, and so it is a lot. Like they actually do get stressed out. Some people think children don't, but they do.
Yeah, they're resilient, like people say, but they do get stressed out. I know my daughter has anxiety. I'm ready to make her quit the team, the job, because I'm like, look, all that ain't even gonna count when we gotta get you into college. Like, so I definitely do understand. My daughter as well, she has AP pre-cal. She does not need it to graduate. She actually just brought her grade up like very, very high. So have hope, like have,
okay.
So she's doing good academically. Last year she ended the semester with all A's and 1 B. So I guess that's not technically all A's. So like 6 A's and 1 B. So she did really good, but she is concerned about the GPA dropping because then, you're in risk of losing scholarships and it's just a lot, y'all. Like, I need to know where all the mamas that did this before us. Now, I will say though, in the one group that I'm in, the group me, a lot of the moms who had kids who've done this before, they were saying that for some reason it's more challenging, that the colleges are a little bit more strenuous. For example, we did, I mean, Cassandra's talking about this backstage. Our kids, and I don't know if it's the same for you, Latifah, we were only doing HBCUs. And so because there's a big talk on HBCUs now and they're so popular and people want to support them, it's like a lot. And like, we're in 2022. I just think that some of the processes, for example, and I won't call out any particular universities. I won't say, my daughter has narrowed it down to 3 schools. She hasn't committed to one yet. She's not even going to reveal into her graduation party. But I will say one university, they were like, yeah, so when you send stuff into it, it just goes everywhere. So unless you call us and have us put it all on the same file, it's just everywhere. Huh? Like, what? Like, and that then dealing with yes, like, we're in 2022. Hello, like, oh my God. So how has your application process been?
Well, the challenge, at least for all our kids, right, is we all just went through a global pandemic. So we could not physically get onto a lot of college campuses, which that matters for a lot of HBCUs. I don't know about other schools, but I know if you meet somebody and you get their card and you got a name to answer the phone, that's going to matter and help the process a little bit. And they didn't have that opportunity. Like, we had to make special trips to go see the school she wanted to see, because like all the college tours that she was going to go on, they all got canceled because of the pandemic. So, and for us, we only we're looking at HBCUs, and her college counselors at school, like, that was foreign to them. So like, they were very set on the process that they've used for years, which is the Common App. And you use the Common App, and that's how you get into college. And the Common App has like 3, I think, HBCUs. And I'm like, okay, what about the other way that we could get her? So it was just a challenge. So she basically had a dual process, right? She was calling it the white Common App and the black Common App, which is bad, but but it was
understandable.
She's doing double work because it was challenging. I think the pandemic made it worse because we couldn't get onto campuses. We couldn't do tours and all that type of engagement that may have made it a little bit easier. I don't know. I don't have another kid, but I'm assuming that was a big challenge that's unique to our seniors.
Yeah, I agree with that also. It definitely stopped us from visiting, a lot of colleges. We're still waiting to hear back. He has applied. And that's about it. I'm hoping we hear something soon. We're doing the scholarships and everything. He's actually doing a combination, HBCU and regular. Well, I don't want to say regular, but
PWIs. Yeah. So okay, cool. So that was kind of like your process. What about, how has the scholarship process been with you all? I know you talked about a little bit, Cassandra, about all the different type of essays. Were they easy to find, or what did you think about the scholarship process?
So I think it was twofold. There was the merit-based scholarships that she applied for when she applied to go to the schools, which is confusing in so many ways, because some schools, they make you apply for a scholarship. Even though you've been accepted into the school, you have to apply for a merit-based scholarship at the same school they've already accepted you, which is odd. So that happened kind of earlier in the year. But what's happening right now is, for example, I am in a lot of other groups where I see people post things that I'm like, oh, that's a scholarship for seniors, or oh, that's a scholarship for seniors. And there are lots of community organizations which are present everywhere. You just have to know the name of them to look for them. So for example, my daughter is working on an essay for like the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club, which I didn't know such a thing existed, but I found it somewhere. I don't know what Facebook group. The one thing though that, I know we're not on lessons learned yet, but what I will say, and I've seen a lot of people trying, I don't think anyone should ever pay for scholarship assistance. I mean, I realize there are people who have businesses and this is their job. And if you don't have the time to do the searching, maybe you will pay for it, but you don't have to. And whether you're looking at, especially like the D9 sororities and fraternities, they all have scholarships, whether there are, like 100 Black men, 100 Black women, that's one of the pillars of all those types of organizations, is that they have fundraisers that we probably have all gone to. And their fundraisers are for scholarships. And so I realize, and I see it in a lot of groups, like people will say, oh, I'm looking for scholarships. And then you can tell this person is promoting their business. I'm a business owner. I get it, right? You're trying to take opportunities. But, to charge people to then tell them how to find stuff, unless you just don't have the time, I think there's plenty of ways. The UNCF and other organizations like that. I'm sorry, United Negro College Fund. I hate to use acronyms, and then I realize everyone watching may not know the acronym. United Negro College Fund has a ton of scholarships. There, you just have to search, or just not even searching, just be aware. Like, they've probably been there all the time. You just didn't notice them.
So well, that's good information. Good information to put out there.
That's what she's like our local. She just received one from like the local YMCA, which I didn't
think about the YMCA.
I didn't either. Someone sent it to me. So like all of our friends know that we have a senior. So then they start sending us stuff that I wouldn't have seen. And so
get the village involved. Love it.
I then send it to all the other senior mamas. I'm like, hey, get your kid on, and yes, we're technically competing for scholarships, but the Lord is the Lord of abundance. There's plenty of, of money out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the YMCA, so thank you for bringing that up. It's been a little rough looking for scholarships. I don't know if I'm not looking in the right places, or like you said, sometimes it's just hard to find them. I have friends who send me, information they may run across. I ran across a website recently. I want to say it's like Scholly.com. I never knew about that until probably a month ago. So I was like, oh, we can do that. And we had other ones. Some of them expired by the time we found it, but we have that website. And then, oh man, I have an email. I know some of them were for Gwinnett. I have to find the email and maybe I could send it to you or something. But I did read something, like we talk about the essays, like why do they have to write different essays and everything. I've read something today actually, and they were saying like apply for those because sometimes people don't, because they don't want to write. So there is less competition when it comes to those scholarships that you have to write essays for. So
yeah,
I even asked Keith, like, do you need help with it? Like, because I just
listen. Listen.
Well, and my daughter missed one. Like, she missed the deadline. It was like at noon and she thought it was at 5. And so she missed it. And I was like, okay, I'm about to do this myself. Like, I'm going to need you now. and I know, that's not ethical, but desperate times.
I know one day he was on a trip recently. He's like, Mom, can you not bother me about this right now? And I felt some type of way, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna let him relax for the weekend, but come Monday, we're back on it.
But it's a thin line between, I was talking to my husband about this. It's a thin line between, I know you're stressed and have anxiety. I have it too. I have it watching you. But then, like, I need you to get through this season. Like, you got to be on it. And so it's such a thin line. And sometimes I'm not sure when to push the buttons. So I have relaxed a little bit because I feel like we've been seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. One university, they give her a pretty significant amount. And so we can just come up with a difference. That'd be great. But it's not her number one choice at the same time. So it's like, okay, well, then you have to do the work to keep, looking for the scholarships. Every time people, they have been great with sending me them on Instagram, Facebook. People are texting me, emailing me. I do send them to her, whether she does them or not. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't always know. I always ask her, but I don't ask to see like the confirmation. So I asked her, and she's
so
like, yes.
here's a tip: a Google Drive, like a Google
Oh yeah.
shared doc.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm sending it to her, I'm gonna put it on the Google Sheet, and it has the due date. And if you do it, you put the date that you completed it. If
That's
you
a good
don't do
idea.
it, you got to tell me why. And I'm going to leave it on the sheet because I got another kid. So I'm going to need to
That
remember
makes
that.
sense. Yeah. I'm gonna
Because,
start one tonight.
well, because again, they're busy, right? So like I
Mm-hmm.
know that you got one due on March 15th. And so I'm gonna ask you, have you finished? I'm gonna ask, and then once she's finished it and submitted it'll say March whatever, and then I won't bother about that one anymore. Um, but yeah, I'm a little controlling with this one. Maybe I'll be tired by the next one, but yeah, we have a shared drive.
Look, I get on my own nerve getting on her nerve. I know I get on her nerve because I'm getting on my own nerve. I'm tired of asking the same questions, and I'll be like, did you answer me about, like, did you say you did? Listen, I'm
The
just like
topic changed
praying
so
that the
quick.
Lord is just gonna like work it all out because it's just so much. So let's talk about one more thing and then we'll take a break and go into like some tips and strategies to walk away with. Y'all, first of all, I just want to say that my saving grace is that my daughter literally has been preparing and studying and looking in stuff since her freshman year. That was the first time we took her to an actual in-person college fair. Like you mentioned, Cassandra, we couldn't really do that many in person or do like tours. We did visit 3. But we couldn't do many because of COVID and things of that nature. And I already told her, like, you're not going to any campus that I can't step foot on. I need to feel the atmosphere, all of that, right? So, and like you said, when you get there and you meet people and you hear the students' perspective, all of that is great. How about I knew nothing about this early action, early binding, early applicate. If it was not for my daughter, like looking into all this stuff and really being on top of it. And so we did that, y'all. Like we literally did all the early action thinking by December 31st, before we rolled into Christmas break. Mm-hmm. We thought we was gonna know where she was going. All we gotta do is focus on getting the money. It is what, March? What's today? March 10th. And as of today, we have no clue where she's going. Okay. So I'm just like, we did all of that. And I think if I would have known and had the due dates in my head, then I would have probably been a little bit more on top of it. Because let me tell you about a few things that happened. So for one college, she missed the deadline and they rolled her into the rolling admissions. She missed the early application deadline because one of the teachers she had a letter of recommendation for, she got sick. She actually has cancer and she left school. And so she didn't get her letter recommended. That was the only thing she was missing. And she got rolled into, we would have knew by now. We're still waiting to hear back from that university, like as of today. And they send out their decisions like December 1st or something. Then there was another university that the information was missing from the counselor. Now, had I known like there was like particular deadlines and things of that nature, I would have made sure and been on top of each other. I'm talking about like 60 days before, like in August, like get it in. So, but I didn't know because I was not aware. I just thought it was one deadline. I didn't know it was multiple and rolling. I had no clue about any of this. Mm-hmm. So what is your perspective? Did you do early application? Like, where were you with all of that?
So for us, like I was sharing with you backstage, when we take my daughter to campus, so she's committed to Tennessee State, and I'm a Tennessee State alum. You can probably see the degrees back there. We will drop her off 30 years after my mom dropped me off my freshman year. Like, so
that
in 30 years, so many things have changed. So I did not know about early decision, early action. And because so much is on the student, at least for the schools that had early decision or early action, or it was in the Common App. And my daughter picked the wrong box. And so she did not pick the early decision, I think, or early, whichever one she should have picked, she picked regular. And so that was a hard life lesson for her. So like she has to, you're right. We would have known by December 1st for those 2 schools, and we still haven't heard from them, but now, that ship has sailed. So I think, again, especially if it's your first child, because it's been such a long time, at least for us, since we've had that experience, and the experience is so different. And I can't get past the, wait a minute, why don't you talk to me? Like, what is this whole email with students? They don't write the check. What is this? That, because if you were emailing me, I would have made sure the application was finished and the box was checked and the recommendation, or, you know, all the stuff that you had going on. I would have made sure that was done, but you were emailing a 17-year-old.
Right.
I guess they said, well, you're going to college, and when you get there, everything is on you. We can't call.
But they're not quite ready yet. They're not I feel like we should be doing some of it, because although I know that we're trying to teach them responsibility, yes, some of it they should be doing, but they're not quite ready. All of them are not cleaning behind their ears and cleaning up their rooms. They're not responding to emails and hearing the deadlines. Like, they're not quite ready. So I agree. I will say that one university has been really good every time I call as a mom. Another one told me that she had to call, and I was just like, I don't even know if I want her to go here or not.
I was the same way.
Yeah, Tifa, did y'all do any early action or any early decision?
We did not. So I'm like, it's so many years between him and my daughter, but I'm like, we know for her, we didn't know. So we're still, you know, in the same boat. We don't have his choice yet, and we're still waiting. I'm like, can we know before graduation, please?
Listen, well, I think, when is National Decision Day? Is it May 1st?
May 1st.
May 1st.
Okay, so then we have.
But then the crazy thing is, one university told us we'll know by May 15th. And she was like, yeah, I'm not waiting on that. But if May 1st is National Decision Day, I don't know. And then the whole thing, I can go on and on. Like, you got to put down housing deposits, but I don't even have my financial aid packet. How am I putting down a housing deposit
when I don't
haven't even tell me how much it's gonna cost?
That part, a non-refundable deposit at that.
Yes, and pay to register for classes, and it's non-refundable. And I don't even have my financial aid packet yet.
Yes, because those housing costs, I was looking at them for the few colleges. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, they range from like 100 that I know of to like 450 I've heard of, which is like crazy. But yeah, so it's a lot to take in. It will take more than our small chat here to go over all of that. But I want to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to talk about some of the tips. I know, Cassandra, you've been dropping gems already. Some of the tips that we can just give moms to take away that has worked for us. How are we managing stress, things of that nature. And so we'll be back right after this. I'm so excited to host Momscape 2022. I know my team has to be excited as well. Look, y'all, we have been in a hotel room hosting our events for the last 2 years, resetting the room multiple times during the weekend to accommodate our moms. We're not going to have to do any of that in this new, beautiful conference center. Super excited. The space is super dope. It's going to take place in Atlanta, Georgia, in this beautiful conference center. There has been a multi-million-dollar renovation just completed. There's a restaurant on site. There's an indoor pool. There's an outdoor pool. There's a fitness center. The conference center is over 30,000 square feet. Now, we are not going to take up all of that space. Just not quite yet. Soon, but not yet. But we will need a lot of that space to be able to serve our moms in this ultimate escape. This is where our luxury accommodations for our moms from all over the world is going to take place as well. Look, Momscape was designed to provide a place for moms all over the world to run away to so that they can learn, they can level up with our life-changing workshops. They can find a peace of mind. They can meet new moms and have fun. Momscape is all about the fun. We're going to have a pool party. We got opening sessions. We got dynamic workshops. We have some dynamic speakers lined up. We have a vendor fair. Listen, at our vendor fair, you're not just going to be able to buy and purchase products. We're going to have resource vendors there too that is going to help you level up in your life as well as help your kids level up as well. We have a 3-part formal that's going to include a red carpet, a formal dinner, a 90s after party. Y'all not going to be able to get me off the dance floor. We also have some special guests lined up to be with us as well. Can't forget about our Mom Talk Live as we close it out on Sunday. I am so excited. You do not want to miss this amazing 3-day event. VIP and regular admission tickets do go on sale February 6th, but be the first to know by going online right now, clicking the link, and signing the interest list. Do that today. Grab your mama friends, and I will see you in Momscape 2022. All roads lead to June 10th and through the 12th, 2022. Momscape 2022. You have to be there. Listen, so I am so excited about Momscape 2022. This is the ultimate escape for moms. This is the conference of the year for moms. You definitely want to be there. We are almost 90 days away. I think Saturday, I counted. Saturday will be 90 days away. We have some dynamic speakers. The topics are fire. They're going to be life-changing. We do have some special surprises for you all. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. I can't wait to the 90s after party. I can't wait to dress up, be on the red carpet, take pictures, with the fake paparazzi, all that good stuff. But I need my mama friends to be there. So the tickets are already on sale. We're still in the early bird stages, so you can still get your ticket for a low rate, the early bird rate. So make sure you go to the website, Mom Squad Worldwide /Momscape, and make sure you purchase your ticket. Listen, I do have to mention this because I was talking to a mom today, and she wasn't aware. We do have flex pay. So we are the only conference for moms that has flex pay, where you can break down your payment into 3 payments to make sure that you are in the room with us June 10th through the 12th. And so go grab your mama friend and make sure you meet us. Peachtree City, right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Make sure you meet us this year for Momscape 2022. And one last thing I will say, we are having an informational call. And so if you're interested in Momscape, but you have questions or you want to learn more about the speakers, about the workshops, I am going to be on with you this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And so send me a message if you want to be a part of that. You are more than welcome to join that informational call. And I have something special that I want to share with you all. So make sure that you come on that call on Saturday. Okay, ladies, we are back. We are back talking about preparing our seniors to go off to college. Before we give some tips and strategies for moms to take away, I want to know real quick, how are y'all feeling about y'all oldest leaving the nest? What are some, I know stress, and I'm trying to get you there. I gotta make sure you get somewhere, pay for it and all that. But y'all, how are you gonna feel? You said 30 years later, how are you gonna feel when you actually drop them off at campus?
It depends on the day. So today I'm ready.
Okay.
But
that's a good answer.
Tomorrow I might be crying, she's gonna be, but it depends on the day.
I'm gonna cry. I'm ready to cry right now just thinking about it. I'm like, what? I gotta send them out into that world. When my daughter started kindergarten this past August, if you could see me, Tramika, I was a mess. So I know come graduation in May.
Yeah.
And taking him, and it's like, are you still staying in Georgia? Or are you going out of state? I don't know. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I want him to have the experience. I'm happy, but I'm just not. I'm not ready. It's Mama Bear,
Yeah, I get it. So I'm a mix of both of your answers, and so it depends on the day for me sometimes. So sometimes I just be like, "Girl, when you leaving again?" And then sometimes I'm just like she went on a because she didn't really have her high school year. She was really, she brought it to our realization because for 2 years she wasn't even in school. So I'm like, oh wow, you really did have a crazy high school year. And so she actually went on a high school trip for the very first time where she stayed overnight her senior year. 18 years old. And I was just like, oh, you gone? When you coming? Texting her, FaceTiming her. And I was just like, Lord, help me now, because I cannot be bothering this girl. So we're going to have to make some type of agreement. She's going to have to text me, or if you don't text me by the time, I'm going to call or text you. I'm going to be FaceTiming middle of the night. What bed you in? What room you in?
That'll be me. That will be me. Do I gotta come up there? You didn't text me back. You didn't call me.
And she is for sure trying to leave the state, wants to be away. Probably will go to California if she could. So and then the other part of me, I'm sad about her leaving, but then the other part of me is concerned about other people, the pressure.
Exactly.
This has been my new worry. Like, not like, okay, we seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel with her getting into school and scholarships and stuff. So now my new worry, because I'm in this one group where they decided to put parents and students in the same group, and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm just like,
I already know.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's gonna be your roommate. And so, not to judge anybody else's kids, but some of the stuff I'm just shocked. Like, I haven't seen it. And so I'm concerned about that. And then she was doing the housing application, and one of the questions was like, do you stand up for yourself? And I was doing it for her, and she was like texting me the answers, and she said no. And immediately I wanted to like go, like, what you mean you're not gonna stay? Like, do I have to drive? Like, don't let me have to drive. And she was like, no, I did that on purpose so that they'll pair me with somebody who's probably non-confrontational as well. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. Like, because I was talking to her literally last night, like, you're like, all that company in the middle of the night, if it's a whole bunch of people, like, you're gonna have to say stuff. I say, oh, we're gonna buy you whatever you need as far as like, all your deodorant and laundry and all that. But if they spend that money on the club and they trying to come get your stuff, like, you gotta say something, because she's super nice. And so now all of those concerns are starting to rolling in. So it's like never ending, y'all. Never ending.
I know. Been there.
I know. My mom just recently told me, "Oh, you thought the stress was going to get better when he got older? No. It's just beginning." I'm like, yeah.
It's actually heightened since they got older. I tell people that were younger kids all the time, like, it's just different. Then now I feel like you compete with the world more, and so it's harder.
It is. The driving for me was the challenge, because I would do the whole text me when you get there, and she would forget. But I have the Life 360 app, so I know she got there. But then I'm like, okay, but why didn't you text me? I'm going to say something. Right. You want me to text me in college, and you're not going to do it. You're going to forget. And I'm going to think you're not in class.
Well, that's me. And I read everything. Like, I know how you text. So if you text me and it don't sound like you, we have a problem. Like, that's me. Yeah.
My daughter will say the same thing in a minute. I have the Life 360 too, so we're already jumping into tips. So Life 360 is so that you can track them. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to track my kids, but it's more for safety. There was one story that I heard here where there was a young lady, she was dating a guy, and she got kidnapped. And she was all the way, like, they lived in Gwinnett. And so for those of you who don't live in Georgia or not familiar, it's probably about 35 to 40 minutes away. She was all the way in the city, but because they had the Life 360 app, like, the person had her in the trunk, but because they had the Life 360 app, he was able to track her and send the police to her. And so it's more for safety than just trying to be, whatever. But the Life 360 app, I've had that for years. All of my kids are on it. And so it's definitely helpful. So that's a tip for sure, especially when they're going to college, especially. So like you said, you're where?
I think the other tip you said earlier, and it'll definitely come into play with my next child, is to start in freshman year. And it seems really early, but at least for our seniors, like, we started in my daughter's freshman year, and then the pandemic hit. So she had like one college fair, and then everything else was virtual, and we hopefully that won't happen again, but it just speaks to the value of starting early, just because you just never know. You never know what's going to happen, and you never know starting early around their GPA and their grades.
Oh, yes.
So, because when they apply, which I had to explain this to my daughter, like, when she applied, it was like October or September. So it was early in your senior year. So nobody cares about your grades in senior year, because you were accepted based on your junior year.
So unfair, I think. Yeah.
And I was like, now the scholarships and stuff, your senior year matters, but like your acceptance happened because, and like, she didn't quite understand that. And I was like, yeah, that's why we've been on you for all this time to keep your grades up, because and I agree. I think it's totally unfair, which is another show for another time. But I think starting all of that early in making those, if they choose to go to college, right? They may not, but if that's going to be the path that they choose, definitely starting early.
Yeah, definitely. That was going to be the same thing I recommend also starting early, so that way we're not sitting here in March, so close to graduation, trying to figure out where are you going. I definitely recommend that. That'll be my number one thing.
And I like what you said, Cassandra. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say about the spreadsheet, because not only can you put the scholarships in the spreadsheet, if you start like freshman year, y'all can like jot down the colleges that you like, and then you can narrow those things down. Maybe in 10th grade year, you'll start going on the tours. 11th grade year, you kind of really like focusing on grades. Because like you said, if you do early action or early decision, you're being chosen based off a junior, not a senior. Which is, I feel like it's totally unfair, but whatever. I didn't even know that, but whatever. We're here. And so putting everything in that spreadsheet so that by junior year, by maybe August, September, you can kind of narrow them down to the ones you actually want to apply to, have the dates in there. And then that way you'll just be on your way finding out like different scholarships to be able to pay it off.
The other comment I saw in a group, which I did not do, but I am totally going to do with my next kid, is a shared email address, because I spend more time than I care to saying to my daughter, have you checked your email? Have you checked your email? Because they don't, right? They text, they're on Snapchat or TikTok, or, they're not looking at email like we are, right? That's how we communicate, especially in the professional world. So they're not looking in their email. So I never even thought of that until I saw someone say that. That's also the email that you then use with the schools, because then you see like if the financial aid letter came or if the acceptance letter came. Like my daughter was accepted in a school and didn't even notice it because it was buried down in her emails. And like she saw it like 3 weeks after they had sent it.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, really? But it's because, they don't check their emails, right? They get spam like we do, like they get advertisements. And so a shared email account, I thought that was a great idea. And I was like, oh,
that's a brilliant idea. Brilliant. Now, I will say the group me that I'm in, some of the parents do have their kids log in. I have been on the fence about asking for all the logins. So I have not asked for all of them. I do have one, only because I had to do something while she was at school. Why did they have them do it while she was at school? I don't know. Why they had them do it that time of day. But so I have that login. And so I'll be honest, I'm constantly checking it because I'm waiting for financial aid package. But at the same time, I've been on the fence with like letting her have her own independence. But I do know a lot of moms where we're in a group and they're like, oh, the acceptance, that it hit the account, check the portals, and they're able to check because they have their kids log in. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about having the logins?
I understand the independence thing. You want them to have it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially during a time like this, just to keep up on everything, because you don't want them to miss out on something or not see it. And I have access to Keith's email, but maybe having like a shared different email would be better, so it's not buried under everything. Because I like scroll, like, did we hear anything yet?
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to let the leash go a little bit, but I'll say in the beginning, I don't think it's anything wrong with the login.
I agree.
Having a login.
I agree. Well, and primarily because, even though I work from home, I'm self-employed, and I'm busy during the day, but that's also when the people are at the school, like they're working during the day, whereas my student is at school during the day, and then she has track practice or, whatever. So she's not going to even see the message until she gets home at night. And then so I definitely, for responding purposes, I can see that. I didn't ask for any of hers. I guess I could ask now. That's a good tip. Because, she's not. It's another thing when you talk about nagging. It's me saying, did you check the portal? Have you checked the portal? And before she narrowed it down, she was checking multiple portals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's just another job for her, is to check all these portals looking for whatever,
Yeah. And I would say my other piece of advice is, if you could, if grades are good, because sometimes the junior grades are not good, so you have to wait till the first semester, senior year before you can apply. I would definitely recommend doing not necessarily the early action, but I'm sorry, not the early decision, because I believe early decision is binding. So if you do it, then you have to go. But early action just gives you an early decision. Early decision. I'm sorry. So I recommend doing an early decision so that way you can narrow some things down. So by this point in the game, you're all only focusing on those scholarships if they don't get like merit-based scholarships. And then you can really focus on enjoying. Like, I'm ready to enjoy senior year. I feel like I've been stressed out for the most of it. And so prom is coming up, all the senior activities. She had like a cheer banquet last night. And I'm ready to have fun. Like, this is my first kid leaving the nest. I was 19 when I had her. I'm super excited and proud, right? And so I'm ready to enjoy those things. But I feel like I'm still doing this balancing game with like, okay, well, you can have fun for like 2 minutes, but then you got to call the school and make sure and email the counselor and email the financial aid office. And so it's not like a lot of times to have fun. So when I tell y'all on graduation party day, I'm going to be partying too, because listen, it's going to be like a weight lifted, because what I'm going to tell parents as well as advice, don't underestimate. Now, everybody experience is not the same. It can be super easy. Your kid might be only going for one school. You're alum there. You got connections. They got in. They got scholarships. Like, everybody's process is not the same. But what I will say is don't underestimate the work that goes into it. Make sure you try to prepare as much as you can for what's to come.
Absolutely. I have been so thankful, again, that at this season, I'm self-employed, to be able to take the time, and so blessed that we have a support system that I can, I can take time and take her down to a college tour or orientation. So we were talking about that in one of the groups. Like, there's an orientation date that's in May for her for Tennessee State. She's not even graduated yet. So why do they have orientation that early? It's like an early decision orientation. But I picked it just because we have a family vacation when the other date was. And then the other one was July. I was like, no, that's too late. That's too late.
Yeah.
So, we're going down in May, and yeah, I'm sure when I go on the campus, not only I wear alumni things, and so I have that experience. But yeah, I'm ready to enjoy. I'm ready to kind of relax. We are having a joint graduation party for both the girls, because we have the 8th grader and then the 12th grader. So I'm ready for the party of the year in our house, and now I get it. I have said to my husband, I now understand why parents are so celebratory.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like I have earned this one.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I agree. You have earned it. So what are the celebration ideals? Have y'all decided like the themes or what y'all doing? Have y'all decided?
No, we only know the date.
No,
We're going home. I wanted to do
Where's
something
home?
Like, Jersey, Philly, Jersey.
Okay.
We're from up there. Yeah, we're going home. We haven't been home to visit in a while. And most of our family is up there. So we're going home. So I guess like a graduation / trunk party. And then by then we'll know where he's going. So that could be the theme,
Yeah.
Like do it based on that. I want to do something out here. Probably won't be as big if he wants it. I don't know. But definitely a celebration at home. I'm not going to take his spot, but like you said, I'm celebrating too.
For sure. I'll take the after party. So when your party's over, then I'll start my party. Something, but I am going to celebrate. Like like you said, we earned all of this. So I am definitely going to celebrate. Well, ladies, it has been awesome sitting down and chatting with you all. I'm glad that I'm not alone. I pray that, all of this is going to ease us like really, really soon. By the end of April, y'all, let's just like have everything together, know how it's going to be paid, know where they're going. And I will say, like, I love home decor, right? So I was so excited about like decorating the dorm. Like, that's what I went into seeing. Like, oh, I'm gonna decorate. I went out and bought like a picture because she even told me, because I was like, I'm not gonna take over And she even told my husband he's so unbothered about everything. That's a whole nother story. And so I was like, I'm not gonna take over with however you want me to decorate it. Like, just let me know. She was like, like you got that. Like even her room now, she was like, can you decorate it? So she was like, yeah, you got that. So I'm like, I'm still gonna run everything past you. I ain't thought about no decorations. I ain't work like I don't even know where you gonna be. So I don't know how I was gonna get paid right now. Like I have not thought about decorations. I'm ready to like start the Amazon wish list, but I can't do that until like everything's figured out. Like my mind just operates that way.
Yeah.
So you said she's waiting until you say her graduation party, or is she doing
graduation
like
party? Nope, 5/27
for and your husband.
No. She can't wait for us because we footing the bill. So yeah, no, we'll know. But for everyone else, because grandparents, aunts, uncle, everybody been asking us. I'm like, look, she has told us she does not. Because I was trying to get her to do one once she commit to a school, like maybe by next month, do like a virtual one. She was like, why would I just sit on Zoom? Like, what am I gonna do? I'm just like, you know what? This is your journey. What do you want? And so our theme for her, because she only did apply to HBCU, so our theme for graduation is HBCU. And so we'll like decorate all the tables in different colleges, and then we'll have them like go stand by the one they think she's gonna go to, and then she'll announce it. And then she'll announce
that's you. That's your thing.
You know, see, and I'm trying to get into this little. See, you know, I love events. I'm trying to. That's as far as I got. Normally, I had a whole thing planned out by now, vendors and everything, right? I'm trying to get into it, but I can't because I've been so stressed out about the other stuff. So,
Shamika, I'm gonna send you a website. There's this, and I don't even remember the name of the place, but they have all HBCU like wrapping paper. Like,
oh wow, yes, please do.
And so I'm gonna send that to you. I gotta find it, but I'm gonna send that.
Please do. You. Yes, thank you so much. So, fun question of the week before I let y'all go. My fun question of the week is tell us about one time in your childhood that you got in trouble. One time in your childhood that you got in trouble. Oh Lord, you laugh. I can't wait to hear that story.
It's not even anything crazy. It's just I don't know. When I think back, I laugh at it. We were living in Philly. We were staying with we lived with my grandma. And my mom was taking a nap, and I was playing with my Barbies and playing in lotion, putting it in their hair and everything. She woke up and looked at me. I looked at her, and I saw her get ready to get up to get me. When I tell you, I hauled behind from her room to my grandma's room. I jumped on my grandma's bed, threw the blanket over my head, and sat there, and all they could do was laugh at me. I didn't get in trouble. But it was just funny because I was just talking about that to somebody, you know, like memories, like with my grandma. Yeah. So I got stories for days.
Love it. That is hilarious. I probably would have laughed at you too.
So my mom is 75, and she has been a teacher my whole life. So she just retired. She's taught for 47 years. So she was a teacher back when like corporal punishment was still a thing. And so she had a paddle at school and a paddle at home. And I rarely got in trouble. But the last time I was paddled, I was having a tantrum because so my parents got divorced when I was young. So it was just the two of us. And she was taking me to a babysitter because it was like parent teacher conference or there was something that I couldn't go with her to the school. And I was being a brat, having a tantrum. And she was like, okay, I've got to go. And I was like, you don't love me. You are so mean to me. And she's like, oh, I'm going to tell you how much I love you. And she gave me the worst whooping for having a tantrum, which I was being a brat. And I like you can't sit down. We're not an advocate for child abuse, but she's 75, right? So that was. And I was like, never again did I tell her she didn't love me or I'd had a tantrum. I mean, the power of fear in parenting with her.
Yes. Yeah. So as I thought of the question for tonight. So the first thing that immediately popped into my head, I don't know why. So my mom and most of my family, they're originally from Cocoa Beach, Florida. So they born and raised there. And so we were often, like, we've been to Florida so many times, Disney World, all that, like, so many times, because we have family that work there, just always in Florida. So we went on one year for a vacation. I was probably maybe in elementary school. And when we would go, we would stay at my great grandmother's house. And she only had 2 bedrooms. She had 2 bedrooms and like a little side room that my great grandfather would sit in, but nobody can really go in there unless you're gonna sit and watch TV. So it's only 2 bedrooms, but I mean, like, a lot of us would go. Like, it'd be like 10 of us, and we'll all stay in this one house, right? And so she lived, she had a swamp in the back of her. And so the back room was like facing the swamp. Like, if you went out the sliding door, like, the swamp was like right there. And so all the adults would sleep in the bed because, again, we're all like 10 people on this trip trying to stay in this 2-bedroom house. She was in the other bedroom. And so we're all trying to stay in this one room. And so the adults would stay in the bed, like, you know, my aunt, cousin, you know, mom, all of them would be in it. But the kids had to sleep on pallets on the floor. Y'all remember pallets? Yeah. So anyways, they told us, like, you know, y'all sleep down there, don't climb in this bed, don't do anything. Well, in the middle of the night, Tramika climbed in the bed because you told me it was alligators in the swamp in the back of the house. So I climbed in the bed, and y'all, I got in so much trouble. Oh my God. And then my mom was like, since you so scared of alligators, they went to Gatorland the next day, and I couldn't even go. She made me stay because I didn't listen. But I was so scared. I crawled in that bed. I couldn't sleep. So I had to get in the bed. So especially that was, I remember.
Florida, they just come up and
they do. Like, you can drive down the road and see them. My grandmother always talks about how she was in a furniture store one time and one just walked in a furniture store. So yeah. They're everywhere there. You gonna tell me with a swamp that alligators actually be in the back of the house that I have to sleep on the floor? Now, never mind, Tramika, that the whole glass is there to protect you. I didn't care. I climbed in that bed, and they was like, what are you doing? And I refused to get out. I think that's probably why I got in so much trouble, but I got in trouble, y'all.
I would have climbed in the bed too.
Right. Yeah, I did. Like, I was so scared. So yeah. So to this day, I hate going there because of the big bugs, the blackbirds, and the alligators. Mm-hmm. I can't. Even though we still go often too, but I can't stand Florida for that reason. Well, ladies, it has been wonderful sitting down with you. You all will be in my prayers. Thank you so much for coming on to be able to help other moms. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on to help other moms. I so appreciate you. And so let's stay in touch. Make sure you let me know what's going on. You know, let's talk about these graduation parties. I'll be waiting on the website from you. I cannot wait to look through that tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
And if nothing else, you all have a good rest of your night. And thank you again for coming on. Thank you to all our viewers and listeners as well. Y'all take care. Have a good night.
Good night.